We're talking about water pipe and particularly PEX fittings. This presentation is all about Barbed PEX fittings. Now I'm going to do something a little different than in the previous presentations because what I'm going to do is show you a fitting and tell you the name. And that's all. No, really, I'm not going to talk about anything else. I'm just going to show you the fitting and tell you the name. Your job is to look at the fitting and remember the name. Okay? We're going to just go. Boom. Oh, and you will be quizzed on this later. We have a 1/2-inch Barbed PEX Plug, a 1/2-inch Barbed PEX Coupling, a 1/2-inch Barbed PEX 90, a 1/2-inch Barbed PEX Tee. This would be a 1/2 by 1/2 by 1/2 Tee. We have a 3/4 inch Barbed PEX Plug, a 3/4 inch Barbed PEX Coupling, a 3/4 by 1/2 Barbed PEX Coupling, a 3/4 Barbed PEX 90, a 3/4 Barbed PEX Tee. This is a 3/4 by 3/4 by 3/4 Tee. We have a 3/4 by 1/2 Barbed PEX Tee. This is a 3/4 by 3/4 by 1/2 Tee. We have a 3/4 by 1/2 by 1/2 Barbed PEX Tee. We have a 3/4 by 1/2 by 3/4 Barbed PEX Tee. We have a 1/2 by 1/2 by 3/4 Barbed PEX Tee. This is also called a bullhead tee. We have a 1/2-inch PEX by MIP adapter in brass. We have a 1/2-inch PEX by 1/2-inch FIP adapter in brass. We have a 1/2-inch PEX by Sweat female adapter in brass. We have a 1/2-inch PEX by Sweat male or street adapter in brass. We have a 1/2-inch PEX by polybutylene coupling in brass. We have a 1/2-inch PEX drop-eared elbow in brass. Along with our fittings, we do need crimp rings. These are the copper crimp rings. We have 3 different sizes illustrated here. And here we have examples of the stainless steel clamp ring. Alright, did you get all that? Good. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to talk much about these or explain them, but there's a couple of these fittings that I should probably say something about. I'm going to assume that by now the elbows and the tees, the couplings, they kind of make sense to you. Hopefully you're getting those. But the adapters. Let's have a look at these threaded adapters. There's the PEX by male iron pipe and the PEX by female iron pipe, and these are to transition to threaded fittings. This is really good when you're working with galvanized pipe. If you need to transition from galvanized to PEX, you use these adapters. How about these sweat adapters? These adapters are used when you're transitioning from copper. If you're working with a copper system and you need to connect the PEX to that, you can use these sweat fittings. Now this PEX by polybutylene coupling, if you look closely at the barbs, there's more barbs on one end than the other. To understand the significance of this fitting, we have to go back in time. Back in the 1980s, before PEX was used, there was a tubing that was very similar, gray in color, called polybutylene. Polybutylene was crimped the same way that PEX fittings are, so it was kind of the preliminary before PEX. But the problem with the pipe was it leaked. They would crack, the fittings would come to leaking, so it was a disaster. There was a recall on this nationally, and they stopped producing it altogether. Then PEX started to happen, but those polybutylene systems still exist in people's homes, and when we make repairs, we can transition from that old pipe to the new pipe using this coupling. Now, the side with more barbs goes into the polybutylene, whereas you can recognize the standard Barbed PEX side of that fitting. The same crimp ring can apply on either side. You just crimp it as you would any other fitting. All right, lastly, the drop-eared L. A drop-eared L is a fitting that has a threaded inlet, a female inlet, and it has these prongs that stick out, or ears, where these can be fastened to the structure. You can use screws and fasten them. Most of the time these are used for things like showers or other pipes that need to come out of the wall. So that's what this fitting is. It transitions from PEX to a threaded, but it has the ability to secure to the structure. Okay, and now it's time for your quiz. I'm going to flash some pictures in front of you. I want you to say what they are to the best of your memory. If you can't remember, go back and watch these again. Just call it out. You'll have 5 seconds. Go. Hopefully you're understanding what these fittings look like and how to identify them. The better you know these fittings, what they are and what they're called, the better off you're going to be in the trade. So keep working on the memorization and the identification, and I'll see you next time.